Assalamu alaikum and welcome to Jan Sewing Solutions. I'm sorry, but the videos are very limited due to personal difficulties and problems. Now this video is actually in direct request of the customer that I'm sewing these clothes for. Do you know what, she's been phoning me and she's been requesting that please we miss you so much and please do a video. Now you know what, I feel a little bit awkward because most of the topics I've already covered and I don't want to do repetitive videos, but just to keep customers happy, I'm just going to do these videos because these are this particular customer's and it's on her request that I am making the video. I will be sewing 3 pairs of clothes. These are all clothes that have been purchased, suits that have been purchased from me, and these are suits that I have done in-depth reviews on going back quite a few months. Now she purchased these and she left them with me to have them stitched. Unfortunately, I get very little time these days to do any stitching. Due to the move and you know, all the machines and stuff coming into place and then me getting back into rhythm. I have moved out of rhythm and it's very easily done, so somebody who's moved away from sewing will actually understand my difficulty, and I'm finding it very difficult to get back into track. I've really lost a fair bit of interest in the sewing. I'm sure I'll regain it, but at the moment I'm sort of like trying to balance it out and maybe bring back the momentum. At the moment I'm having difficulty, let me assure you. So going back to these suits, these are fairly relatively cheap suits. If you've not purchased one of these suits, then I do have a few left, so by all means email me. They're on a chiffon and contrasting dupattas. Very nice light colours and the price is very reasonable. These are £20 a suit, which is a bargain considering the amount of work and so on that's gone into these suits. So I'm just going to show you what I have pulled it apart, and I'll show you what the suit basically looks like. It's got this beautiful sort of like a minty green colour dupatta, which is beautifully finished off. This is on a chiffon and it has all these diamonds that are glued on, iron-on type, and then the dupatta is finished off very nicely with a nice edging. And let me tell you, sometimes you get these and the edging is quite bad and you have to redo them. This one's done relatively well, and it does take a fair bit of time to apply piping on like this. You may have seen me doing these type of videos where I've done contrasting piping, and let me assure you, it does take you know, I have left the machine running during the process just to sort of highlight the amount of time that it takes to edge something like this, and this has got double edging done. So you know, if you were to have something stitched and if you were to have this applied on, you're looking at you know, I mean, I would charge anywhere between 6 to 10, you know, £6-7 to actually do edging like this, with the additional cost of the edging as well. So you know, having it done already on a scarf is actually a good value for money. And now the suit itself, I pulled it apart and there was a slight bit of a hindrance with these suits, and the slight bit of a hindrance was that when they've embroidered these suits, they've left the backing paper on, which I've actually peeled away a fair bit. Now a lot of people question what is the length and the daman that you can make on these suits, and that's one of the reasons why I'm highlighting, because it just answers, and then you get to first hand see what the suit looks like as well. Now the good thing with this one is the neckline is already pre-done, and the suit itself, I'm just going to quickly take a couple of measurements for you so that you're aware if you're going to buy it, because these things you don't often, when you go to like bazaars and shops, you don't get time to look at these things and work out. Now the width, the gear on this is 30 inches, so anything up to 28 inches you can easily make from this. The length as it is about 47 inches. Okay, and if you wanted, you can slightly lengthen this, but you will have to reapply this back on, and which I don't really particularly want to take this off, but there is an additional extension on the hemline, which if you wanted, you can take this off and you can lengthen it slightly more. I'm going to leave this, it's actually long enough for what I want it, so I'm going to leave this as it is. The neckline is already pre-done, but some portion of this you may have to take this off in order to attach lining if you're going to sew lining directly with the suit. And if you're going to stitch it separately, then you don't need to worry about the neckline itself. You can slightly slant it on the side, which is I think what I'm going to do. I'm not going to sew the lining with this. I will stitch the lining, or I don't know. I'm gonna be working this out, whether to actually stitch the lining with it or to stick it separately. Well, anyway, this is just one of the suits. Now the sleeves with this are fully embroidered too. Just a cautionary note on the sleeves is to actually add full lining underneath it, because it is a little bit rough on the wrong side, and there's nothing worse than the irritation on the sleeves if you stitch these. Also, you will need small little pieces just towards the inner arm, because the width of the arm, the sleeve is not adequate, but lengthwise it's more than adequate, which is actually a good thing. The suit comes with lining. Now unfortunately I might have a problem to get the lining out from this for both. I will have to work out if I can manage to take something out from, because I just advised you that you actually could do with I will need to work out if I can manage to take out the lining for the sleeves from the salwar, because this is like a traditional type of a suit and I would prefer to make a salwar kameez. So that's one. The second one I'm going to share with you is quite similar, very similar. The embroidery, the color variation is slightly different. This is on like a very light, sort of like a pistachio green. The kameez is got full embroidery, and then the neckline is slightly different. Again, this neckline is already done, but the only problem that I noticed with this one, the width on this is perfectly adequate, but the length on this is slightly short. So I will be adding perhaps reddish pink color lace to go at the bottom of this, just to extend the length, because the length on this comes out slightly shorter, which is approximately 45 inches. So I will add a 2-inch lace at the bottom of this just to extend it. The dupatta with this again is nicely edged off on stuff. It's a two-tone dupatta, very pretty dupatta. It's like a shocking pink and a salmon color, and then the back of the dress has also been piped off. Now in addition to this, what I will be doing is locating this color fabric to actually finish off the piping in, and then the sleeves have got added trim, and I think maybe just a very small. Now this one's sleeve is okay. This one doesn't need you know, like a full lining. You can add 3/4 lining or whatever you're comfortable with. A lot of people don't like lining at all. Again, this has been supplied with fabric for lining and additional fabric for salwar. So these are unbranded. There's no actual name to these suits. I'm not sure what company they're from, but that's the second of the suits. If you're interested in either of these suits, then by all means email me and I shall get back to you. Now the third suit is Asana Safinaz. It's on a cotton, and the fabric is for a lining and a trouser. This one is actually, the cotton is a decent type of cotton that is ideal even for winter. And the kameez is on a net. Now you may have seen, I don't know, I can't remember if I did the reviews on these or not, but again, very, very pretty suits, beautiful combination, and very nice work. I love this fabric because it has an absolutely wonderful flow. I'm not sure what I've done with the picture, but full sleeves, embroidery on the sleeve. The back of the dress is plain, and I think what I may do is just maybe I'll probably use the cotton and just do like a thick border, and then if I've got, I don't know, if I've got some, maybe the blue or one of the colours to just actually trim it off in. And then the dupatta, this is the dupatta. Again, it's on pure chiffon, and the print is very, very pretty. So what I will be doing with this one is stitching a trouser and a kameez, which is what per request is. Now I think what I'm going to do is, if you're like, I'm going to leave those two and I'm going to do the cutting on this one first, and hopefully I'm going to be sort of like giving a little bit of guidance. So do join me as I go about pulling this apart and then rejoining it. Now one thing I am going to do with this is I do have this color lining, and what I will do is the cotton, I'm not too keen on having the cotton to line this with, so I will use additional fabric to line this with. And then the fabric that I have with this particular customer, I'm not sure whether I don't know whether she's worn a trouser or not. A lot of the larger size customers ask me that my advice on a larger size and whether a trouser would be suitable. Now, it's very difficult to judge. If you're not comfortable wearing something, you may find it very difficult to wear it. Especially if you're a heavy person, especially if you're over certain age, it becomes more difficult. I mean, I'm over certain age, but because I've been wearing mixture of different types of clothing, I've not found it that difficult. But as time goes by, I find I'm more and more comfortable with sticking to traditional salwar kameez rather than going for, you know, different designs. So what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to sew a trouser and a salwar, and then I'm going to leave it to the customer to actually wear whichever she likes. So that's the beauty of this suit, that because of using additional lining, I don't need to use the cotton for the lining. One is because it's a stiffer fabric and it will restrict the hanging, but secondly, by using different lining, I've got the excess fabric to play around with to do the extra piece. So I can make a trouser and I can make a salwar, and if she wanted, she could, you know, if she wanted to wear a salwar with this, then with the trouser she can have perhaps something else made. You know, so you've got the versatility to actually, you know, use either. And I would recommend that, because often with fabrics like these, lining, yes, you can match, but salwar fabric is more visible and it's more difficult to match, and you're looking for better quality. So this is a more of a decent quality where it can be used for you know, different salwar, trouser, lining, whatever. So given the choice, I would rather use this for an extra pair of trousers and then use additional lining. You know, and it actually helps us in both the cases because we've got, you know, better quality lining and the extra salwar. So anyway, join me as I go about cutting this, and then perhaps I will try and finish those and share the results with you.